All right, let's continue our discussion on sleep. We are on tip number 27. Now, I'm going to give you a couple supplement recommendations, but when we give you supplement recommendations, I don't want you to ever misconstrue what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to treat or cure anything with a supplement. These supplements or these nutrients are meant to supplement an already healthy diet and healthy lifestyle. When we give you a supplement, many times we're actually trying to address a deficiency or help rid a potential toxicity in the body. So one of the common deficiencies that we see that can actually contribute to sleep issues is a magnesium deficiency. So it's something that many people are deficient in because our nutrients are just void of it, and we're not getting it in our food. So I encourage that you supplement with a magnesium supplement, and you know if you take too much because you'll have a loose stool. But in order to figure out how much you need to take, we actually have to hit that threshold. So we encourage you, buy a magnesium supplement, make sure it's magnesium citrate or glycinate or a blend of those two, and it can be a couple other different forms as well, but those are the most usable forms by the body. And we encourage you start with the dose on the bottle, and then gradually bump up by one capsule or tablet every single day until you have that loose stool. And that's when you know you've hit the threshold or you've hit the proper dosing for you and your body, and then you just back it off. So the body's really good at telling you when you've hit that kind of saturation point. So magnesium can be a common deficiency when we look at sleep issues. Yeah, you might know that you have a magnesium deficiency if you're also struggling with things like muscle cramps and headaches. So magnesium can be an excellent supplement to actually help us with our sleep because it's addressing a deficiency. Now, valerian root can be another thing that can be beneficial with sleep, but we encourage you to take this short term as you clean up everything else in your lifestyle. So yeah, it can help with sleep, but once again, we don't want you to take something to treat a sleeping issue. You can use it short term to help us get some sleep while we clean up some other things in our lifestyle. Chamomile tea can be a nice routine in your nightly routine. Just make sure that we're not drinking right before bed, just like we talked yesterday. You want to make sure that we're not drinking any fluids in that 2-hour window right before bed. Melatonin can be a great supplement. We talked about melatonin a couple weeks ago. Once again, it should be short term. Go ahead and take melatonin now if we're struggling with sleep, but our goal should be able to get off of it and just incorporate different lifestyle routines that make sleep easy and natural for us. Now, a couple other tips, guys. We need to be exposed to different kinds of light during different times of day. So our circadian rhythms, our sleep-wake cycles are largely dependent on the time of day and light exposure. So we need to try and mimic nature as much as we can and be part of nature as much as we can. So in the morning, I recommend you get some of that sun as the sun just comes up. There's a different wavelength that we see in the morning compared to right now in the afternoon. And then also spend as much time as you can outside in those different wavelengths. And then at night, make sure that you mimic whatever's happening outside in your house. So we want to be exposed to that morning light. We want to be exposed to plenty of light during the day. And then at night, we don't want to be exposed to a ton of light. We want to make sure that, remember, we replace some of our lights with some more warmer light bulbs and potentially even at eye level like we talked about yesterday. Another great tip is we need to cool off our rooms. Remember, we talked about making our room an actual cave, so we want it dark, but we also want it cool. So the optimal range for sleep as far as temperature is, I know this is quite the range, and the lower range is quite cold, but 68 degrees to 60 degrees. So there's about an 8-degree window there where, with the research, we see that's where people get optimal sleep, 60 to 68 degrees. So cool off your bedroom, turn it into a cave. The other thing is, if you incorporate the nutritional changes that we have already talked about, addressing the certain deficiencies and supplementing with the nutrients that we've told you to supplement with, as well as eating the foods we've told you to eat and staying away from the foods that we've told you to stay away from, what you're going to do is you're going to actually improve gut function. And our gut health is so incredibly important in just chemical messengers within the body, the primary one being serotonin. And serotonin is going to have a positive effect on melatonin production, our natural melatonin production, which is going to help us actually wind down and be able to sleep. So incorporate the nutritional changes that we've told you to incorporate, heal your gut, and it'll actually help your own natural melatonin production. We got to remember that food is information. So it's not just nutrients, guys. It's not just to satiate us or make us feel more comfortable. The food that we put in our body is literally information and helps the chemical messengers within our body. The other thing is all of the other tips that we've already talked about. If you incorporate those into your life, sleep's going to become much easier for you. So we have to move our body. We have to exercise throughout the day. We got to incorporate good nutrition. We got to mitigate our stress, which we're going to talk about starting tomorrow. And I encourage everybody to have good spinal hygiene. And the most important thing we can do is get adjusted. The most common thing that we hear from patients as they start care is an increase in energy, right? An increase in sleep and decrease in stress and sports performance. So one of the things we encourage everybody to do, if you're struggling with sleep, let's make sure that we clear that potential neurologic compromise so that you can actually rest and repair and relax at an appropriate time when your body needs it the most. So guys, I hope you found that helpful. Like I said, tomorrow we'll start our discussion on stress.